Welcome, Nathan, and how are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Now, Nathan, I just want you to explain to people about how your experiences were with transformational wellness. What brought you here in the first place?
I was going through a bit of a rough patch in my life. Truth be told, I was probably thinking about killing myself, which was pretty bad considering I had a daughter. I can't remember how old she was now. That was a couple of years ago. So she might have been 4, I would say. I was also been married for a while as well. So it was pretty bad that I was thinking that kind of thought pattern. And I had a friend of mine that gave me your details, and I just said to him, "Nah, I'm not interested." I said, "I've spent probably $150,000 to $200,000 on personal development in the last couple of years, and I was just over it." And then I can't remember exactly what happened because it was a couple of years ago, but something twigged that week, and I checked through the message that he gave me your details, and I jumped online and had a look at the website, and I liked your guarantee, because most of the other places they give you a guarantee, but then when they give you a guarantee there's so many sub clauses and things to it that I was just like, well, what's the point? So I thought, all right, I'll give it a go. So I rang you, and then you called. I think it went to voicemail, and you called me back, and we had a good chat and booked a time, and I was very nervous at first to come down, and so it was just interesting to see how it would play out and what actually happened.
So you said that you were thinking about killing yourself. So obviously you were depressed.
Yeah.
You were financially stressed.
Well, yeah. To go in more into that, I was having a really rough time at work. I'd been injured a year before and went through a really bad depressive state. Was on a lot of drug killers and things like that because I hurt my back. And I hadn't gone where I wanted in my career at that time. And it was just, I was really depressed. I was unmotivated. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't be bothered doing anything. I'd go into work for maybe half an hour. I kind of worked for myself, and then I'd go home and absolutely achieve nothing in a week. And weeks would go by and I wouldn't achieve anything. I also gathered that my boss knew what was going on and was probably close to getting rid of me as well. So there was a lot of stress, there was a lot of financial strain, there was a lot going through my head at the time, and it just wasn't in a very good state at all.
Okay. So you came to visit me. You sat down in that exact chair.
Was it this chair, was it? Oh, okay.
That chair, that chair's come with me in so many places.
All right, yeah.
And then we actually had a chat. So just explain to people, what is the process like?
Are you talking about like the start, or when I sat in the chair and when you started?
When you sat in the chair, was it confronting? Did you have to reveal all your secrets, or?
No, I was a bit surprised. We just had a bit of a chat. He didn't really ask too much, and he laid me back in my chair. But it was quite comfortable and warm. The room, the lights were on. You had candles on, or it was dim lighting, so it wasn't very confronting at all. It was very soft and relaxing. I felt quite relaxed when I got in there. I remember sitting out in the waiting room. I was a bit nervous, going, "What's this all about?" But then once I got in the room and that, it was, I suppose I just relaxed very quickly and just laid back in the chair, put the headphones on. That was it. It was. Yeah, it was a lot different to everything else I've done. I've done things where, they ask you some very personal questions and things that you I suppose I've been in a group session where you've got to reveal secrets that you wouldn't tell anyone, or you wouldn't want anyone else to find out, and you're revealing to a whole group of maybe like 20 or 30 people, and that was quite confronting. But I liked how yours was. I suppose it was just very cool and calm. It was easy.
Yeah.
Actually, I suppose that's probably the best way to put it. It was very easy.
So then the process was, we did your consultation, you filled in some paperwork.
Yeah.
And then we went straight into your first session. Explain to you what was the process to go into your first session?
The process, explain what you mean by process though.
So what did you have to do?
Oh, nothing. I lay back in a chair and put some headphones on, and I was trying to work out how this is going to work. I'm sitting there going, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." Do you want me to explain what happened after?
Yeah.
Okay.
So explain a little bit. So you lay back in the chair. So the chair gets reclined back.
Yeah.
The lights
very
go
comfy
off.
chair. So the lights go off. I've done a lot of meditation. I always fall asleep in meditation. So the moment you put the headphones on, I think I even said to you, I'm going to fall asleep. I suppose I laid back very comfortable. Had some headphones on, so music playing, very relaxing. Took a couple of deep breaths, and next thing you know, I'm waking up, and it's all done. I don't know what happened, but yeah.
Okay, and so explain, there's a process of about 20 minutes that it's about 30 to 40 minutes that you're actually asleep for.
Yeah.
and so the whole experience is really relaxing.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable. It's not confronting.
Yeah.
We don't have to go through all your problems. We just get in there and do the work.
Yeah.
Now explain, how did you feel when I took the headphones off you?
I was a bit surprised. I was like, is that it? Because, like you just said, it was very relaxing. It was like a meditation. I used to meditate in the morning in my bed, so I put the headphones on and go back to sleep for an hour in the morning. So it was very similar to that. I didn't have to do anything else, but I just remember that I sat up. I was, I suppose, a bit dazy because it just I felt different. Something was there, and at that time I didn't really know what it was. And I think you asked me a couple of questions and that, but I was still a bit dazy. I had some water and just relaxed. I suppose it's felt like, when I don't know, many people get massages, but when you get a full body massage and you wake up and you're just like, oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just so relaxing and refreshed.
Yeah. So did your problems feel like they were dissolved a lot?
At first, I probably didn't think too much about my problems, straight away. But then I did notice overnight that I hadn't even thought about them, and it was interesting how everything had pretty much disappeared. I have and as you can tell, I talk a lot, so I have a lot of chatter in my head. Well, used to have a lot of chatter in my head, so I'd have so much going on in my head that I'd just be exhausted. And I remember waking up the next morning and then just realising that had gone. I remember talking to a friend of mine about it, and she's similar to me, and just saying that you need to go see Terry, because we were talking about it, and she was going on about, she had this long list of things to do for the day, and it's all in her head, and I said, well, I've just done this thing with you, and I was just blown away by, my head was just quiet. There was just nothing in there. There was no problems, no stress, no worries, no I have to do this, and no chatter about, oh, you forgot this and you got to do this, and it was just very calming, I suppose, and relaxed.
And so did the sabotaging nature of your brain, because you mentioned that you're at the lowest point of your life.
Yeah.
So did that actually lift for you pretty much straight away?
I can't remember that far back now, but I suppose if you showed me the survey, I'd probably go, wow. I can't remember if it lifted straight away, but I did note that my motivation had changed. So I would say that yes, because things in my life started to turn around pretty quick from there. So I'd say that it must have gone away. Something major must have changed, because my motivation started to change. I pulled my finger out at work. Things went on. I think I saw you again a week later.
Yeah, it was a week, every week.
And by the second time round, I remember that it was massive changes by then. And then after the third session, I think my life was just completely different. I couldn't even remember being that far back as we were when I originally came in. And I remember you showing me what I filled out when I first came in, and I couldn't believe that was me. And it was only 3 or 4 weeks later. I was going, who is this person? That's not me. So it was very, very different. I suppose the interesting thing, like I said before, was I spent so much money on personal development to try and find, I suppose, the answer to what was going on in my life. And it was interesting how all I had to do was sit in a chair and you did your program on me, and I just come out the other end a completely different person.
How would you rate this? Because you've done so many. You don't have to name what you've done.
Yeah.
But you've done. if it's out there, you've done it.
Nearly, but I'd spent a lot of money travelling all over Australia. I've done boot camps. I even went to like the Maldives with other people and did lots of different things. But are you talking about just the first session that I did, or
just
the whole program?
The whole program that you've.
I'd probably rate it like a 9 out of 10. I don't think I ever put anything as a perfect, because everything could be improved.
Even I can improve my work.
Yeah. And you have, because you're always saying you've got this new program, and everyone always gets better, everything adapts. But I'd definitely give it a 9 out of 10. And honestly, value for money, I think it's really cheap. And because of what I've spent and what I've done, and even forget about what how it's changed my life, just what I've done and what I've spent in the past, I would say it's one of the cheapest things that I've done. It's also one of the easiest things I've done. I didn't have to do any work, which I'm very lazy at. So you give me like a worksheet to do, and I've got one that my coach at the moment's given me, and it's sitting there, it's about a month on, and I still haven't filled it out. So I like that. It was just, it's kind of like a meditation. It's just a relaxing atmosphere. I really enjoy coming to see you. You're great to talk to as well.
Thank you.
But it's good how it's so easy. And I bring my daughter here. I bring Mia here as well, and she has a good time if she can sit still. But I definitely notice the difference when she comes. There's a huge quietening in her mind, and also the process that the nighttime one, she used to actually, if we forgot to put it on one night, she would come out and remind us and say, you forgot to put the voice down. And she was quite young then, so but it was interesting how she really loved it, and I noticed a difference in her personality and things like that. She seemed, I suppose, to not be as stressed after school and things like that.
Great.
And I suppose she also slept better as well. So
fantastic. So how different, you can see the difference in you. So, like you're smiling, when you came in here, you weren't smiling. There was two different people.
Yeah.
But how much has your life changed?
I don't even know how to explain that. I suppose it's done a complete 180. I would say that I was very close to wit's end. I had pretty much worked out like certain ways of doing, I suppose, harm to myself, which I look back now, it's really sad, because I love my daughter and my wife, and I love my job, I love my life really, and I just had a post the other day on Facebook, and it said about one thing you need to remember when you wake up this morning is you have a life. And it's interesting when you think about that, and I think about how bad it was. I know I was in such a bad state. It felt like nothing was going right. I just felt, and I feel guilty now that I felt that bad, but I just know that it seemed like there was no other out. I was very depressed, and just stressed all the time, high anger levels, and a lot of things going in my head all the time, and it wasn't anything outside, it was all inside, so it was all in my head. Because
your home hasn't changed, your wife hasn't changed, you're still in the same industry.
Well, I'm still in the same job.
Still in the same job.
So pretty much nothing's changed except me, so it was just, it was definitely all in my head. And one of the things you brought before, but I do notice that I remember that it pretty much instantaneously, my life pretty much turned around, because what was in my head just changed. It disappeared. So I suppose when you said, did it dissolve, it did. Now that I think about it.
When you think about it, I did the work, you just got to enjoy life, didn't you, Nathan?
Pretty much, so I hope you have the same life.
So how, if you could connect with the people that would be watching this video, what would you say to them if they were thinking about coming to see me, or their life is in a bad way? What would one message be to those people? Because you're in a happy place now, but you've been into a really bad place. So what would you say to those people?
I'd say you owe it to yourself to come. Like, it doesn't matter what you've done or where you're at or what's going on in your life. You're stupid not to, really.
Yeah.
It's just, you owe it to yourself, your family, whatever is in your life, to give it a try.
Yeah.
And then when you come out the other side, you'll be like me. So, yeah, it'll be very different.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and I really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Cool. Thanks, Terry.